Reading Comprehension. A Forest Adventure. George was a cheerful young boy who lived in a small village surrounded by dense forest. One sunny afternoon, George decided to explore the woods near his home. With nothing but a small backpack, he set off on his own. Feeling adventurous, he decided to take the pathway by the pond. He'd never taken this route before. Marvelling at the tall trees towering above him, George ventured deeper and deeper into the forest. Oh, what a beautiful day, he thought to himself. He felt a sense of excitement as he felt the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. With the sound of birds singing high up in the trees around him, he experienced a feeling of freedom like never before. George began to hum and whistle as he enjoyed the sights and sound of nature all around him. But, as the hours passed, George realized he had lost track of the path he had taken. He began to panic. Frantically, he started searching for any familiar landmarks. Nothing looked familiar at all, and everything looked similar. All he can see is how vast the forest is. It was getting dark in the woods, and soon George found himself completely lost. As strange sounds echoed through the forest, fear began to gnaw at his heart. He wondered if he would ever find his way home again. By this time, it was almost pitch dark. George was starting to feel desperate, when suddenly he spotted a faint glimmer of light in the distance. Feeling hopeful, he started to follow the light. He kept walking and walking until he stumbled upon a cozy cottage among the trees. He felt so relieved as he knocked on the cottage door. A kind old man welcomed him inside and offered him food and a hot drink. Sitting by the crackling fireplace, George began to tell the old man his story. "Don't worry, George," the old man said reassuringly. "Everything will be all right. It's late. You may rest here tonight. I'll walk you back to the village tomorrow morning." "Oh, thank you so much, sir," George said gratefully. After that, he was so exhausted that he fell asleep as soon as his head touched the pillow. The next morning, after a hearty breakfast, George set off for home with the old man's help. "Goodbye, sir. Thank you again for your help," he said to the old man. They shook hands. "Don't mention it, my boy," the old man smiled. "It was a pleasure meeting you. Promise you'll never wander off on your own again." George said, "I promise." Let's go through the vocabulary list. 1. Set off means to start on a trip. For example, we will set off on our road trip early tomorrow morning. 2. Venture means to go somewhere that is unfamiliar or dangerous. For example, despite the risks, they decided to venture into the dense forest. 3. Marveled means to be filled with wonder or astonishment. For example, as she gazed at the breathtaking sunset, she marveled at the beauty of nature. 4. Frantically means in a hurried, disorganized, and desperate manner. For example, she searched frantically for her lost keys, tossing papers aside in her desperation. 5. Landmark means a place or building which is easy to recognize. For example, the Eiffel Tower is a famous landmark in Paris, France. 6. Gnaw means to cause persistent discomfort or anxiety. For example, the uncertainty about her future gnawed at her mind constantly. 7. Pitch dark means no light at all. For example, without electricity, the room was pitch dark and she couldn't see anything. 8. Cozy means warm, comfortable, and snug. For example, she wrapped herself in a cozy blanket and settled in to read her favourite book, 9. Gratefully means feeling, showing appreciation for kindness or benefits received. For example, after receiving the unexpected help, she smiled gratefully and thanked her friend. 10. Wander means to walk around without clear direction. For example, they decided to wander through the old town, exploring its narrow streets and hidden gems.